You get to a point where you don't want to be in that cell anymore, and that's the only way out.
Execution?
That's the only way out of that cell.
What made you change your mind then?
Denny.
Denny, as in Denny LaBeouf.
She walks in one day. She said, "Look, I read your case."
She's an anti-death penalty attorney who fights to get inmates off of death row, no matter what they did to get there.
I mean, you make no bones about it. Most of your clients are guilty.
Absolutely. And the work that I do, I want to do on behalf of people who have tragically committed a homicide. That ain't Damon.
LaBeouf was convinced that Damon Thibodeau was innocent. She immediately appealed the verdict. But 2 years after Damon stood trial, the state Supreme Court reaffirmed his conviction. Denny LaBeouf couldn't give up, but she was overwhelmed. She sought help and found it in a place 1,200 miles away, in Minneapolis.
And here's where the body was found, down in here.
Steve Kaplan was a partner at Fredrikson Byron, a well-heeled civil law firm that takes on a few select criminal cases pro bono.
As soon as I met him, it completely changed the stakes for me. It was not clinical, it was deeply personal. It was the look he gave me as he was saying goodbye that I remember, will always remember.
His life is in your hands.
Correct.
How big a difference did it make when you got help from Minneapolis?
Everything.
Right away, the attorneys took another look at the witnesses who said they saw a man who looked like Damon on the levee.
But they then said, and you know, the police tape was around and the police were here. Well, that was the night they found her, not the night she was killed.
They also reached out to the now retired state pathologist, Dr. Fraser McKenzie. When he testified at the trial, he didn't know the details of the case.
All I know was there was a confession. I have no knowledge whatsoever of what is contained in that confession. None.
And when you find out?
Then I'm really upset. The confession does not match the physical evidence.
What's more, McKenzie was able to help establish the time of Crystal's death, sometime before darkness fell at 7:50 p.m., about 2.5 hours after she left her home. That's crucial because Damon Thibodeau was with Crystal's family for most of that time.
There was absolutely no time within which Damon could have possibly committed the crime. It's 10 minutes from the apartment to the crime scene. Another 10 to come back, that's 20 minutes. And it would have left no time for him to have done the murder, cleaned up, disposed of all the incriminating evidence, cleaned his car, and gotten back to the Champagnes, presumably fully composed and ready to rejoin the search.
5 years after that first meeting with Damon's team, District Attorney Paul Connick makes an extraordinary decision. He will not fight Damon's bid for freedom. The defense and Connick file a joint motion in court. That same day, a judge orders the conviction vacated, adding in a handwritten note that Damon should be immediately released. In September 2012, 16 years after Damon's arrest, his legal team gathers anxiously at the gates of Angola.
How does it feel to finally be free?
Good.
Reunited with his family, his son Josh finally gets to meet his father in person.
I think one of the great things of this is the opportunity now for father and son to have a real relationship with each other. That's just unbelievably special.
You got it all? You got it all.
Attorney Steve Kaplan's commitment to Damon isn't over yet.
Put this in the back.
Damon is moving in with him until he gets settled.
We're coming up on Huey Long Bridge,
And so they embark on the 1,200-mile journey to Minneapolis.
we're headed north. And I get to sit in the front seat.
There you go. No chains.
No chains. No, I'm not in the back seat. And I don't have bars on the windows. I'm shaking the chains off, and I'm starting over.
my pleasure as the co-chair of the Minnesota Innocence Project, along with John Hopeman, on behalf of the board, to honor our colleague and our friend, who is beyond deserving for his work that he has done for Damon Thibodeau, the work that he's doing in the Monschools case, and the work that he continues to do. We are incredibly proud to honor him, Steve Kaplan, with a never forgotten.